Hey, John. How's it going?
You well blocked in, John? I'm not trying to be antisocial. I've just actually set up here so I can, in the recording, I can see everything and use. How are you, mate? You good?
Yeah, here we go. I'll stand opposite of you. Maybe we could form the circle here for the diameter.
Good. Good. What's happening, John? Well, John can actually hear or not. Can you talk, John? Or not?
How about now, blockchain, John? Nice.
John is also streaming on Twitch. Also going live on there. So fantastic. That's great. Starting just over there, she's doing a few things, getting a few things out. So you'll join the circle. But I'm not thinking that she's being antisocial. Yeah, that's SOS. I've been playing a few of the new stuff on the playlist on the iTunes playlist. Some new songs you put on there. This is fantastic.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you. You're actually going to get probably, I'm hoping, flooded next week with about three new ones. I'll mention it a little bit later to everyone too, but it
Yeah.
seems like Spotify is taking the lead now. It's funny, I as I add songs, it's kind of like they get added to the different streaming services at different times depending on their timeline. And in the past, Apple Music was like the same day. As soon as it got approved, it was up and running. And for whatever reason, lately Spotify's been the quicker one. Apple Music is lagging, so I'm hoping there's three or four songs probably coming your way, hopefully in the next week.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That
Well, actually,
that was
maybe
the.
it's good because you haven't heard anything that I'm going to play today. Then, so that's good.
I think it was there was one actually that really I mean they're all good, but I think it was Blackstream by Mr. Periwinkle. I think that was a really good one. Oh, apparently, no, sorry, the Forced Ride. Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
Forced
four
Ride
straight.
had,
Yeah.
had like a jungle theme sort of background to it. That
Yeah.
was a really good one.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm psyched that you like that. I got to thank my friend Pat the Cat. To be honest, I had that whole thing done, and I sent it over to him. He's my other set of ears, and I said, What's missing with this?" He said he mentioned the time, which was like an early band that Prince was in. He's like, in the time, I forget what song it is, Jungle Love, I think. They have that like that those like jungle sounds in the beginning, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get what you're saying. So yeah, I circled back and kind of added that in, and it was I think it was the icing on the cake. I was very happy with how that came out. Got my son
And that was a good
involved and
one.
everything, and
I was playing. I had it in the car, playing it, so it came to that one. It was playing from the beginning. I noticed there was some new ones on there. It was actually when I was driving down the coast, down the Gold Coast, actually, when on they were just sort of fine tuned it into the new from the Vic Dolphin property, and so I met up with the Bill developing a few of the guys for breakfast, and just going through a few tunes. As I was, it's around an hour drive.
But Dan's intercontinental looking glass is an old concept from an old landlord of mine, Dan.
Stuff and things that come up.
Hello, Cryptonauts! Welcome back to another cryptocurrency chat. This is really exciting today because we have a really cool person on for you today, and I hope you're going to be really interested in listening to what he has to say. Just a neat concept of a person that this individual has for both halves of, halves of his political and professional life. But it'll be really interesting to see. So, thank you for joining. My name is Jake Jabarelli, and I'm co-hosting today with Blockchain John and Cryptonaut Mike. Today on the podcast, we have Bruce Frenton, the crypto advocate and candidate for the United States Senate in New Hampshire. This is so
terms of what the plans are. Have him come over here to Australia. We'll get him set up here, and we'll put him up to the Senate here, so he can actually educate our politicians here what the blockchain is all about and the future of it. And hopefully it's a success for Bruce, because obviously, I see that he's obviously a massive educator within the halls of Parliament over there in the US, and hopefully that he can get over the line and play a major part in terms of educating these guys that have no idea. They're making policy on things like to do with blockchain. They've got no idea what they're making policy about. So people like Bruce obviously play a key role in educating these guys within that. Not to get too political. Yeah, look at send out any tweets to just in general that we're on. I was on today's sessions focusing around tokenized real estate, and I have invited some of my colleagues that, and it doesn't matter what chain they're minting on. In terms of the tokenizing, this would have been a good forum for them to tell them about their projects, what they're doing in tokenized real estate. But so far, it's just me by the looks of it, unless anybody else is secretly tokenizing real estate that we don't know. But so far, it's just me. I know Dan and Sarah at Hydro Chain. They did have a couple of things on. I think Sarah was see if she could make it today, but they were tied up today. We had them actually on our show on what is real estate tokenization last week, and again it was about projects on the Braveland chain that are doing real estate, tokenizing real estate. As we're still very early when it comes to Ravencoin from a real estate perspective. So there's actually technically. Dan and Sarah they're going to be the first ones to tokenize on the Ravencoin chain as far as real estate is concerned. And obviously we're going to follow with the new one that we announced, the Brick Dolphin that we announced a couple of days ago. That's going the Ravencoin chain later on this month. It's pretty nice. So, and I think as far as known projects, and then obviously got Jake, who's from Dwell Homes. His one's coming on later in the year as far as their real estate projects. But in saying that, the details later on, there is a bit of activity behind the scenes with some of my colleagues and looking at the Ravencoin chain. Sure. See you clearly now, mate. My left. When I start questions and that, I always start from my left, At least as long as you're comfortable with that one.
Shuffling in there. Here we go.
Shuffles. Look, it's now 20 past. Look, we'll start anyway because obviously this has been recorded. We'll put it out there. As I said, I did invite probably around 12, 14 of my colleagues who are tokenizing real estate across other chains in terms of doing commercial real estate and what have you. But look, in terms of we'll make a start, because obviously just give it time and probably just from a formalities perspective, yeah, look, I'm Luis Miguel Lexo. I'm from Brick BC Projects. We takenise real estate properties here in Australia. Again, this event that we have every month here on Braveland, it's a campus, a metaverse campus that it's funded by the Ravencoin Foundation. So it's open to anybody to use. Doesn't matter who you are. You can come here for free and use it. We make use of these facilities. Once a month, we have this Braveland Gems on the Beach, where we have a different topic on, and we have a get together as we are today to talk about around the theme of each month. And so we cover our theme, and then also we're lucky enough to have a fantastic musician, SOS, who performs concert after we sort of get through the theme of the day, and then we enjoy fantastic music from SOS. And we always get the great enjoyment and seeing the professional dancers like Indy and LSJ do this in sync, never seen before dance moves. So again, it's they've raised the bar. So they are the champions, the champion dancers. He had Braveland. So I like that very fun. But probably what really was obviously this is very much a community driven. It's not about me. I help facilitate obviously, but this is about as a community, Ravencoin community, where we get together. And Philly helps out, and LSJ helps out, Indy helps out, who all Cosmic and everybody here, SOS and John. We all help in terms of making this event obviously a success, and continue to, increase the support every month. So we're a bit thin on numbers today, whatever reason, but that's again we roll with the punches. This is recorded, then we'll catch up later on if they haven't been able to join us today. But yeah, look, in terms of today's theme is very much around, as I said, around tokenized real estate. It's today doesn't matter what blockchain you come from in terms of where you're minting. This is very much a real estate focused in terms of what's happening in a tokenized world, tokenized in the blockchain world of real estate. Probably just a sort of an overview for today. Sort of I'll provide us a bit of an overview in terms of going to the different platforms that are tokenized in real estate. I'm not going to talk about a few other ones in that. Also to invite some service providers that are in the real estate, in the tokenized real estate world. So people like DigiShares and so forth. So again, the invitation did go out, and they couldn't make it, but I'll sort of briefly touch on that. Open up a Q&A, then we go to a wrap, and then we go into a concert. So so look at, I guess in terms of given the thinner numbers in terms of tokenized real estate platforms, I guess I'm happy to go and sort of talk about our properties in terms of what we've done, and we're really excited that we announced our second property. So we've got a Brisbane property, which is a brick koala property, and we've got a second property that we announced 2 days ago on the STM market on the AMA. So we announced our property there, our Brick Dolphin, which is a Gold Coast property. So again, that's our second focus area. So we're going to be run the two areas simultaneously, the Brisbane and Gold Coast. That goes $2.6 million property US. Very similar to the Brick Koala property in terms of costs and so forth, number of tokens. So it's very much, obviously it's got a beach theme. It's only around 2 kilometres from the beach. But so basically we continue on our journey in terms of tokenizing real estate here in Australia in our focus areas. And again, it's very much continue to the fundamentals in terms of what we're doing. And again, this Brick Dolphin, it's the first one on the Ravencoin blockchain that we're doing, and it'll be all on the Ravencoin blockchain thereafter. After obviously the experiences we had with the first one, Brick Koala, and be able to pivot away from Ethereum, given the challenges there. And and probably I will announce here that as some of you know, and if you don't know, each property token series that we do put up, it's actually has 12 NFT art pieces. So we buy NFT art for the properties. So we put obviously inside the properties, and our first the Brick Koala's got its 12 pieces already. And I'd like to announce the first one for the Brick Dolphin is actually Indy Indibo's dolphin that she actually created, and we actually did have that one there. So we officially make that the first piece of art for the brick dolphin, the beautiful dolphin, Miami dolphin that she done. I mean, probably a month ago, a month and a half ago, wasn't it, Indy, that she done those dolphins? Um, it is quite relevant. It's not because of the dolphin, because Mermaid Beach, where the brick dolphin property is, that's actually beside Miami. So that's the suburb of Miami. So you got Mermaid Beach and Miami. So it's very much dolphin and Miami. So that's that theme there. So, but yeah, thank you, Indy, for that piece that you created, and now we've actually got that as our first official piece, art piece for a big dolphin.
That's amazing. Thank you.
We minted some from a marketing perspective. We minted some NFTs of the dolphin, and there's about and it's got embedded in terms of links to in the Gold Coast and what have you. And Indy would have noticed we've actually embedded the dolphin, a picture of the dolphin within the NFT. Which if you guys like it, if you guys would like that NFT information NFT on the big dolphin, just DM me on Twitter, and I'll your Mango Farm address, and I can send you one of those as well. So Indy was the first recipient of that one. Hasn't actually been shared to anybody else. I just wanted her to receive yesterday to get her thoughts on it first, and I got a thumbs up.
Yeah, it's really good. If you want one, definitely speak to Brick.
Thanks, Cindy. But yeah, look, in terms of, I think that's enough about us. I guess, like I said, there's no other platforms here that are tokenizing, but probably like to share. As I said, it's a big believer in rising boats, rising tides raise all boats, as we all talk about and believe in. And I guess although Sarah and Dan can't be here today from HydroChain, but I will sort of speak about their project. They're about to tokenize any day now. I think they're probably a month away. They're just sorting a couple of things out from a platform perspective with their property, and they've got some more lined up after that. So I think it's around a month that Sarah sort of gave us an update last month. So they're going to have their first property. The property's actually finished already. It's actually been rented already, and so they'll be launching that. They'll be able to buy tokens in it, sort of in a month's time. So just keep tabs on that. And they've got a few already sort of following that beyond the first one. So again, it's taken a little bit longer than obviously they planned. Not so much the build side of things. That I mean, there was some hold ups there, but more on the platform side of things, just to fine tune. So obviously they're also part of the DigiShare stables, as we are. So DigiShares, obviously they added the Raven coin late last year to the platform to be able to, for us who are with our own platforms, that we can use the token studios for the Raven coin token studios to be able to mint the properties on the Raven coin chain. So there's a few things that needed to sort out. That was sort of obviously making sure everything was working and nothing was going to break when it launched. So yeah, so they're thinking they're about to launch soon. So follow them as well. They're on Twitter there, and follow their journey. Again, nice, great family in terms of what they're doing, and again, it's all about supporting each other in terms of what we're doing, because as we know, the property space is such a massive property global in terms of real estate value. That and we're so early tokenizing real estate. It's making sure that we get out there, provide awareness to bring mainstream in, bring people in cryptos for that matter, and blockchain that aren't really aware what's happening with tokenized real estate. So again, it is very much the new frontier to provide access to anybody to real estate. And I think sometimes I was actually talking to somebody the other day, actually a couple of days ago, and just the realization that I think there's still this barrier for people to believe that you can actually buy property in another country. So I think just that whole sort of concept, even if you're in blockchain, it's still very much hard for people to understand. Can do it. So I guess it's about spreading the word, and actually I think it was Xander. Actually, Xander was talking to somebody the other day. He was telling me that just that concept that you buy country, probably another country, is a massive thing in terms of people's what you can do that. So again, it's So how is Xander? You good?
Yeah, I'm doing good. You want me to share that analogy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I was walking around the convention and I was talking about Ravencoin, the difference between Ravencoin and Ethereum and the other EVM chains. And basically, I would have a pin with a string on it, and I would give it to them. And as soon as I'd give them the pin, I'd pull the string and pull the pin out of their hand, and I'd be like, "That's basically what can happen with a smart contract that's maliciously made on Ethereum or another EVM type blockchain." And then I would give them a pin with no string, and I would be like, "All right, that's yours." And basically, they were like, "Okay, so what's this?" I said, "That's Ravencoin," and they were just like, "Oh wow!" And this guy was like, this one in particular, he was a developer within. He would do contracts for called Polygon Matic and Ethereum. He used to make the contracts. So and he had a big Polygon shirt, and he had a hat with that had Ethereum on it, and he said he was a Ethereum maxi. So yeah, it was interesting to watch him. He's like, you know what? I need to really look into this Raven coin you're talking about because you really messed me up on that. It was pretty funny.
It's one of those things. If you don't know what you don't know, you just keep doing the same old. And I guess today's session was about to, me obviously invited other property tokenization platforms to come here and share their journey, what they're doing. But at the same time, it's sort of hearing what we're doing on the Ravencoin blockchain, what we've done, and obviously what Sarah and Dan, what they're doing, and so forth. Because I think, like we didn't know about Ravencoin blockchain last year. We only came because of the challenges come sort of October, November last year we had with Ethereum. We knew that wasn't going to be an option to continue only on that blockchain. So again, it was about trying to get exposure to people who come on here to talk about it. Then listen to the recording, obviously. So it's about to provide informed people who are actually doing now as well, tokenizing real estate to be able to say, okay, well, Ravencoin might be actually something that we might need to pivot to because our platform is not sustainable. When I say not so much platform, but the chain that they're minting on might have issues that it's not going to be sustainable to continue on. So again, today's session is, again, understand what they're doing, but also at the same time educate them that there are alternative chains like Ravencoin blockchain that might actually provide alternatives to what they're doing that becomes a solution to what the problem they might be having. And the ones that are doing fantastic with that's great. Yeah, but again, it's about providing that information and awareness. And as I can for our, just on that point, Xander, for us, in terms of our Brick BC, our properties, we don't need smart contracts. But at the end, we don't need anything to be executed as far as, things that you put in terms of program. Basically, as long as the information documents are on there, on the blockchain in terms of the property, that's all we need. And obviously, the tokens, the ability to buy and sell tokens between on the secondary market thereafter is all you need. So there's no execution like instructions that are required, which I think would be very similar to a lot of tokenized real estate platforms in terms of their needs. So again, some probably will need some in terms of their models might need some instructions and actions in terms of a smart contract. But again, like it's everybody. I know, just basically speaking out generally, I don't think a lot of the platforms need the actual smart contracts as such. Ravencoin, blockchain ticks all the boxes in terms of the needs of the tokenized real estate. Yeah. So yeah, it was interesting that experience you had with that, and how you sort of were able to articulate it in that way to that guy with contracts.
Well, it was multiple people. I had to have at least done it to at least 2 dozen people at that convention, and they all were. Their eyes would get big and be like, "Oh, so you mean like with a smart contract you could take my NFT?" I'm like, "Exactly. That's exactly what I can do." "Oh, I don't like that." but and I told him, well, can't do that on Ravencoin. No way. Like I would just get all these, like, not only were they shocked, like that one developer, he was just he didn't know what to think. He's like, oh man, I've been building contracts for this long. I never thought of it that way. Like, wait a minute, you're a developer. You never thought of it that way? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, look, in terms of platforms, as I've sort of mentioned, and I mean, Jake from Well Homes, he couldn't make it today, but he's also got his properties coming up later on the year. So Jake and his father, they obviously owned Well Homes. They build they are builders themselves. So they got theirs coming up later on the year. So shout out to Jake. I know there's been some challenges in the family with Jake's grandfather. So shout out to Jake. Hope everything's going well and everything's okay with your grandfather. But yeah, so Jake's so they're taking eyes and ears later on this year. In terms of on the show that I host with Jake once a week on What is Real Estate Tokenization, we've had various people from other. We've had Rob and Lando taken eyes on a different platform. We've had Balcony, they've taken eyes on a different platform. So there's quite a few different platforms, blockchains out there. But again, it's one of those things. You don't judge, you just provide awareness in terms of what Ravencoin's all about. And if it ticks the boxes for them, then gives them that alternative if they're not happy where they're at. So again, I think most of us here, we're not maxis. We're very much in terms of being open-minded, and obviously Braveland chain, we know what he can do, massive tokenization perspective. So it's just a matter of just keep providing awareness, and people make up their mind what suits them. I know I had this conversation with Kyle, although it's not real estate, but in terms of they're tokenizing their business, the STM markets, and I know they use AVAX, and they decided to use AVAX to tokenize their business on. And again, it suited them in terms of Crypto Life Crisis. How are you? Thanks for joining. I was just just covering in terms of STM markets, and I was one of the spaces, and did ask Kyle about what was sort of the critical decisions that made him tokenize on AVAX, and he did say one of those critical points that he did make was about the multi-chain. Obviously, looking forward in terms of that the ability to go between different chains. For him, that was actually one of the critical points that they made about it, and I know that's something that it is a talking point at the moment on the Ravencoin chain. I've heard Tron Black talk about it, and LSJ and so forth about the topic about multi-chains in future, the interoperability between different chains. So again, look, as I said, that people make their decisions based on what boxes they are trying to tick from their business model, whether it's real estate or just asset tokenization in general. I think it's a matter of providing awareness in terms of what the benefits are on Ravencoin chain. I know we made a decision, and we didn't take that decision lightly, because again, we're here for the long term. For us to switch from Ethereum to the Ravencoin chain to tokenize our assets, our real estate properties, was a big decision. And given that we want to do, first year was 11 properties, second year 20 properties, and 20 properties thereafter every year. So it was a massive decision, because we don't want to be sort of going changing chains every time something's not right, or whatever the case may be. So again, having discussions with obviously Tron Black, and obviously hearing LSJ's very informative, deep knowledge of Ravencoin blockchain, and also other people who are very knowledgeable in terms of Ravencoin. For us, it was a massive decision when we did make that switch to the Ravencoin blockchain. So hence where we are today. Look, in terms of
I can go back to that statement you talked about, Ravencoin Maxi. That's exactly what I look like at that convention. I was wearing only a Ravencoin, the one that says warning. Maybe start talking about Ravencoin, and then big black and white letters. Yeah. There's a Maxi, there's me, and everybody knew it.
It was so funny. I saw your post on that. I was laughing my head off when I saw your shirt at the convention. But the thing is that the reality is that obviously we're passionate about Ravencoin and so forth. But again, Yes, we're maxis, but not maxis. If that makes sense. We're not, at the end of the day, we're still open-minded about other projects, what's happening, other things, and other chains and so forth. We're still respectful of other chains, and I think that's the difference between our mentalities and some of the stuff I see on some of the other chains. And if you're not part of it, they don't even want to talk to you. That's just, I don't agree with that. You can be passionate about your chain and all the things, but I think you still got to be respectful of other people in terms of what they're doing. And I think that's a big difference with us. When I say with us, the Ravencoin community, still respectful of other people, what they're doing in other chains, in general. But I do love that shed, Anna. I'm just laughing. And I guess I guess one thing to also to note is that we've also got service providers that are obviously building their businesses, like DigiShares, for example. And you've got obviously with the SDM markers, they've got their STO advising, where they're obviously advising clients in terms of tokenizing assets on the chain. So again, we've got this obviously wave of advisors coming on board that obviously we always, we are, not that we're biased, but we are in terms of DigiShares. They are the global leaders when it comes to creating platforms and maintaining platforms to tokenize real estate on. It doesn't just have to be real estate; it can be assets as well in terms of what they're doing. But again, you have this wave now of people understanding that there's actually massive opportunity to actually set up a business as service providers to service what's happening in real estate tokenization. And I know obviously LSJ, you as an example, you actually are the person who I actually, as a reference point when it comes to, again, I've got a general understanding, but I'm not going to be there trying to talk about it in deep knowledge, because I haven't got the deep knowledge like someone like LSJ. And I know during the week there was actually a couple of gentlemen out of Brazil. And they're looking at tokenizing agricultural land in Brazil, and basically I've got my journey and trying to give some guidance in terms of what they should sort of be doing as part of the next few steps. And I said, look, I can introduce you to, again, we're tokenizing on the Ravencoin blockchain. If you are serious about what you're doing, and because they were looking at another chain, they were pretty much deep into another chain to go and do it on. But after I sort of spoke generally about the Ravencoin chain, what we've done, they're actually now thinking about, and they've seen the community as well, and they're now thinking actually that's not the way to go. They're going to look at the Ravencoin chain to tokenize it on. And I said, look, to get the deep understanding, you need to have a chat with LSJ, because there's no one better than LSJ to give you a deep understanding how the Ravencoin chain actually works. So I know LSJ, that's the two guys that I put you onto on Twitter that I should connect you to. So again, there's a massive wave of service providers to come in, set up businesses, because people are looking, and first time I know some other ones out of Europe as well that also that I've spoken to, that I put them onto and connected them. So again, there is a big wave when it comes to service providers coming on and actually really assist these businesses, businesses like ours and so forth, be able to get that guidance, because again we're so early, and in terms of the whole tokenizing real estate, that people need that sort of guidance. It's a new world. That brings opportunities across the board. And again, there's a marketing. I mean, we're constantly approached from marketing people to help us. So that's all right. We've got our marketing under control from our perspective. But again, we'll probably get hounded by marketers, and not to be disrespectful towards marketers, but you do get approached numerous times. Because obviously it's a frontier that obviously see a massive opportunity to get into some of these marketing businesses. I thought just open it up. Again, I think I've spoken enough. Let's open up the floor, Q&As, or anything that anybody wants to sort of raise about real estate, anything about us or other people that are tokenizing real estate, or just general questions about real estate. Just open up the floor. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations on the dolphin property.
Yeah, just on that point, Zan, we actually haven't officially sent out the emails to our Brick Wallet token holders, but I think most of you that are here are Brick Wallet token holders. So what we actually, I did actually hint it, but I'll announce it here that every brick koala token holder gets one brick dolphin token. So obviously we go live on the 29th of August with the brick dolphin, so people can then buy. Straight off the bat, because these are the ones that are brick koala token holders. You have the same holdings in brick dolphin as well. So I hope you like that property. It's a fantastic, beautiful property, which it'll be completed in Q1 next year. The property, so it's the site's already been secured. They're about to do the demolition. There's an old home on the property, so there's a so Ali, who's the from Houseworks, who are the developers and builders of the property, they're about to start demolition of the old home on there. So they to start construction on the villas. And again, it'd be also exciting to see the progress. So obviously we'll be going out there to show the progress of the property as it gets built. So the beauty about it is that because they are the builders and developers of the property, they control their own timeline. They're not just developers. They've got the builders. They control their trades. So for us, it gives from a control perspective, it gives a much more control of the timeline as the property obviously starts being constructed. So so it's really exciting. Really excited about It's not that we've forgotten about the brick koala, but it's very much having the two locations going simultaneously. Some people like the sort of life that beach sort of lifestyle look for an investment property, which obviously the brick dolphin has, whereas the Brisbane property is more of a city feel to it. So again, then you can have both. You can have both. We're setting up the formal email to all brick koala token holders to let them advise on that. But that's actually what's happening. So again, I'll open up the floor. But yeah, Zen, thank you for those nice words about the big dolphin. We've put a few things out there in terms of pictures and so forth. Over the next few days, they'll be on the website. There'll be the fun details of it on our website. We'll have some of the plans of the property and more sort of photos around it and around the area and so forth. So probably next week I'll actually go out there and actually walk the street. I'll do my brick walk around the brick dolphin. Show it's an old home, obviously. It won't be much. It's probably starting to be demolished by the time I get there next week. So that's pretty exciting. Pretty exciting. But again, look, I said this is an open floor. Any questions and points, and but yeah, please.
Hey, got a quick question. I heard you the other day on the security tokens market. I think it is, right? Security token market, STM, with the blue, not the blue, with the green and gray kind of logo. And I, to be honest, I was shocked. I didn't realize that there was this other group of people that are also very much into real estate tokenization. I'm just curious, what chains are they on? I was driving and maybe I missed it, but I'm sure you probably know or could help me out.
So STM Markets, they're very much a marketing business. So Kyle and Herwig, they started that around 4 years ago. Literally just the two of them doing YouTube videos, trying to educate people what asset tokenization is all about. So obviously, which encompasses real estate. So they built that from just the two of them 4 years ago and when we started our journey, like when I started going down the rabbit hole, finding out whether blockchain could provide a solution, the problem that of traditional real estate. They're actually one of the key platforms that I used to research what asset tokenization was all about around 2.5 years ago. And when we started out the journey, and last year when I laid out the 5-year plan for the business called BQC Projects, and then looking at the marketing strategy, our marketing strategy was very much we wanted to be on their show. We saw them as the leaders in what was happening, tokenized asset tokenization and real estate tokenization. So we actually highlighted them as a goal we'd like to achieve. Get on their show to expose what we're doing and build the relationship with them over the last 12 months in particular. So basically, they just STM Market is an educator platform. So their YouTube channel, they educate people and keep people up to date what's happening with all different projects, tokenized assets, whether it be real estate, whether it be businesses that have tokenized. So they're very much an educator, especially their YouTube channels that they educate through. Obviously, it will also have their other socials, but particularly around the YouTube channel that they put out the show goes on once a week. Colin Herwick does to update people in terms of different projects. They then decided to, rather than actually just talking about it, they decided to tokenize their own business as well. So they launched last month. They launched the tokenization of their business, so people can buy with a crowdfunding methodology. In terms of what they do call it crowdfunding because it's obviously got different regulations and so forth. So it is actually crowdfunding. So it is very, people can buy tokens on the blockchain on their business as their business. So they decided to use AVAX as the chain to tokenize their business on. And as I said, for their reasons what they had as to why they used AVAX to tokenize on. But yeah, so basically they're very much an educator. They've got a few arms to their business. They've also only the marketing, the SDM marketing was actually tokenized because they've got other businesses under their umbrella that is not part of the tokenized business that they've tokenized. They've got an advising arm, SDO advising to their branding. So again, they obviously educate people in terms, they educate but also provide guidance on a consultancy basis what they've got to do and what from a legal perspective who they should be seeing to address some of the legal issues with their regs, so forth. So yeah, so they're very much their primary thing is educators. And again, for us, we're quite fortunate and very honoured to be asked as the first community member to be featured. So there was 3 of us last week, last Friday, that were featured. We got the #1 tag as so again we were very honoured to be asked and we got to talk on the AMA last Friday. So that recording is going to be going up by then. I think they're putting it up soon, next few days. I believe we're also going to be on the Monday, so Monday US show, where they're going to also be talking about us. So when Kyle and Herwig do their weekly show on YouTube, they're going to be actually talking about us this Monday. So from the AMA content. So again, they're fantastic what they're doing, providing, bringing mainstream to the blockchain in terms of asset tokenization. So again, like I said, we're very honoured to be asked and to be involved and be engaged with their community. And they have got a huge following around the world. And as I said, they were the first point of contact when we started researching what blockchain was all about, and asset tokenization in particular. Yeah. So look out for Monday YouTube, STM Markets on YouTube, the drop that they're doing, the video, and they'll be talking about us on there. Yeah. Yeah, just continue the open floor. Any questions? LSJ, sorry, go on, please go on.
Win Lambo.
Soon. Sorry, Brick, you were going to ask a question?
Yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was going to say, LSJ. I mean, from your perspective, I mean, obviously, in terms of the angels that you do and helping out, I think that's going to be an area where you are going to constantly be in demand because, again, from my perspective, you are always my first point of contact if I'm talking to people about Ravencoin blockchain and what they need to do and getting a deep understanding. And I know some of them, those things might not actually eventuate to anything in terms of from your perspective, but hopefully at least one will actually stick, and hopefully that means something for you financially as well in terms of advising, because again, that's an area that again, don't take for granted your knowledge, because you've got this deep knowledge of the Ravencoin, and for you that's quite fruitful from a financial perspective in the future. To be able to help people on their journey, and some of these platforms that they've got budgets in terms of what they're doing. So don't be shy to actually get rewarded financially in terms of what you're doing, because don't take for granted your knowledge, mate. Because sometimes in our respective spaces we sort of take for granted what we know, our deep knowledge, but that's an IP that nobody has. And I think this, I'm not telling you to suck eggs, mate, but I guess the point is there, don't take for granted your knowledge and your IP. Make sure you get rewarded for that at the same time.
Yeah, no worries, thank you. The stuff that we've been seeing come through for Raven Angels and things has been really, really interesting. Can't talk about all of it, obviously, but there's people that are obviously interested in tokenization and options on how to do it, and Ravencoin is obviously a great option. But it's like people have different needs. So it's like the example we used the other day with the toolboxes. Ravencoin has got an awesome toolbox to easily tokenize anything. But some people don't need that. They want something that's loads more complicated, and security tokens, sorry, smart contracts could be the right solution. But at the same time, because everything's centralized, sometimes you're better off just writing a program to do what you want it to do, and you don't necessarily need it to run on a distributed ledger. So Ravencoin can still work from that point of view. But it's just people have got different ideas, and it's just explaining what's possible as clearly and easily as possible. I love that illustration of the pin and the string, because it's straightforward. Everyone gets it straight away. So that was really good. I'm going to use that.
That's fantastic, isn't it? Alice, while you've got the floor, again, just assume I'm somebody that I'm here, because obviously it's been recorded. So just assume that I'm here and I'm doing tokenizing on a specific platform, or I'm actually looking at tokenizing on a platform. And I want to know, why should I use Ravencoin blockchain to tokenize my real estate properties on? Take it away.
Oh, the speech.
Not to put you on the spot, mate. Not to put you on the spot, but Alex, you always say very, very simple terms as to the fundamental.
Waffle.
Why should I tokenize on the Ravencoin blockchain?
So with tokenization, what people are looking for is a way to represent value and then transfer it between each other safely, to transfer that ownership. What has been really common up now is in the tokenization space, people have been using smart contracts to do tokenization. And there's a couple of issues with that, a couple of good things and a couple of bad things. Some of the bad things, or things that people should be aware of but aren't necessarily upfront, are that the way smart contracts are structured from a structural point of view, the way they're constructed is that smart contract addresses run the code for the smart contract, and they contain tokens. So those tokens can never be moved to any other address, and that is not something that smart contract chains make clear, because it doesn't suit them. What it does allow is it allows smart contracts to manipulate the tokens in the smart contract and transfer them easily because they're all in the same address, and they make it really straightforward to automate processes, to automate systems, and it's really good for that. So it's doing what it was designed to do, but from an ownership point of view, smart contract owns the tokens. It's not something you could ever get sent to your address directly and hold personally with your own private keys. The way smart contracts actually arrange it is they allow you to put a reference next to the token, and that reference would be your blockchain address. So that could then changed if you transfer ownership in future, sell the token, but you can never actually truly own that token in your address. So it really comes down to what people view as ownership, and explaining it as clearly and easily as possible. So in Ravencoin, what happens is when a token is made or issued by someone, it's held in one address, everything, and then that token can get sent to people's addresses directly. So it's not in a smart contract being allocated that way. It's actually something that people can hold, much like that pin that Xandatar spoke about. There's no string to kind of smart contracts. People who run that and look after it can decide that no, you shouldn't have that token anymore and give it to someone else or themselves. So there's no risk of that, or there's much less risk of that. And yeah, so it's explaining some fundamental concepts that people who walk into tokenization don't necessarily see straight away because it's not explained. It's not clearly laid out the differences between smart contract tokens and Bitcoin-like tokens. I try to avoid fancy phrases and stuff now, but it's it's quite difficult to put it in plain English. But yeah, work in progress. And little illustrations like the pin and the string that you can pass to someone, and then the person who's on the other end of the string can just yank it to themselves. That's the person who issued the smart contract, and at any time when they choose, they could upgrade that smart contract, update it, get their tokens back, or send them to someone else. They control it. But with Ravencoin, it's different. If you give somebody something and then you send it to their address, that person controls that. They own that token. Ravencoin is special because it also allows some other things, some special tokens that can enable more illegal compliance. But I tend to go into that in more detail with people with specific use cases, just because it makes sense. People who have those use cases, because that's what they're concerned about, and they need to know how they can get that compliance. Generally, um, people don't need to know that, but they do need to know that as a general rule on Ravencoin, things that get sent to your address, they can't be removed. No issuer can take them from you. The very worst thing that an issuer can do to someone is freeze their tokens. And that's done by people, by special tokens and special tags that are made very clear when they're created, and you know very well that you've got a restricted asset because it would be very clearly laid out in the agreement of what you were getting when you got into whatever agreement it was with the issuer. So whether it's some property that is only for accredited investors, then use the it's called restricted assets and tags. You could use them. So going from Sanders' pin analogy, it's Ravencoin. It's like giving people a pin, but with restricted asset. Those people, they also get a tag. They get a little name badge, and only people with that name badge can have a pin. That's the rules of the token. So if you've got a pin, have a token. So it's really simple rules and analogies that help to explain what Ravencoin can do, but also allow people to trust that they've got really good ownership. Their tokens just can't get taken away from them, like they can do potentially with smart contracts that are potentially bad actors that are trying to take their value away from normal people, which is it's really sad and horrible to say that that's really common on smart contract chains. People stealing value from other people, which is really sad, but it's in a way positive because it exposes better solution if people care to look for it. So yeah, I'll stop waffling there, but yeah.
Always great, Jay. It always, it always makes sense. Deep knowledge around Ravencoin, that makes total sense, mate. Fantastic. Again, just it's always good to hear from you, especially people that are looking at planning to tokenize real estate or basically looking for alternatives that things haven't happened, haven't actually worked out what they thought it was going to be in terms of where they're tokenizing. So to hear you talk about it, makes a lot of sense. Again, just gives our people that sort of very general overview, and but with a deep understanding at the same time from your perspective. Yeah, no, I really appreciate that, man. Really good, really good. Yeah, and again, it's a matter of because we're such a young chain, Ravencoin chain, is that awareness, because you know there's some. It's one of those, as I said earlier, it's one of those things. If you don't know what you don't know, you keep doing the same thing until you're actually exposed to a Ravencoin chain and see what it can be. That's when you start questioning your own chain in terms of or planning or whatever you've been planning for, and seeing this as actually the solution to what you're trying to achieve. So, yeah, I really appreciate you giving that deep understanding, mate. Again, just people that listen to this recording, hopeful that you'll get now a sense. And if you want to know more, LSJ is a person to reach out to find out more in deeper. If you're looking at using the Ravencoin chain to tokenize real estate on. So yeah, really appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, look, it's again, if there's now none of the questions, we're going to sort of clicked over the hour. So if there's no other questions, if there is, please come up and talk. And otherwise, we'll start sort of the wrap to move to our fantastic concert by SOS. Any questions before I sort of give the mic to SOS to sort of give us a bit of a round up of a brief in terms of what he's about to deliver to us in this fantastic stage concert. Anything else? I know Indy and LSJ, they're getting excited. They're about to start dancing, and they're getting a bit twitchy there, I can see. There's no other questions. I hand it over to you, SOS.
All right, thank you as always. If I may, just real quick before we get started, because once I get on camera and for real, I start getting nervous and I don't explain things that I'm supposed to. So I'll try to make it quick. Please visit booth C34 over in the expo hall. Most Friday nights at around 10 p.m. Eastern time, I post new videos, and they'll be available until I post the next one. So it's kind of like a movie theater, playing one thing at a time. I always post updates about that on whatsupraven.com. That's Morgan's awesome site. Hopefully she's back next week, and there'll be some updates, so you can check it out there. I basically will work with anyone to write and record theme songs for your projects. So, reach out. I prefer to trade this for like NFTs or artwork or whatever, but I will be more than happy to lend a hand for free if you don't have anything to trade. That kind of stems from my early experiences with Ricky over at at rvnft.art. And, of course, the nuns that I know in real life, I just try to give back to the community and kind of help people. So please feel free to reach out if you want a theme song. So if you guys will like to join me over in the concert area, we can dance and sing, and it should be some fun. I just want to point out real quick, I posted a sea skull. I believe it's number 39. It's the chocolate skull that you'll see. That's by Zebradif. And you'll see my goodness, Birds of a Feather, on the right screen. That's, of course, by LSJ. And thank you, since you're here. I love that thing, and I'm definitely never selling it, even though it's worth a lot of Ravencoin now. Anyway, so if you guys would like to join me, I would appreciate it. And if not, please consider checking out my playlists, my music, or just reaching out and, theme songs. I'm your guy. Thanks, Brett.
Again, just really appreciate you, putting all this together. I mean, behind the scenes, you put a lot of time to the music for each month, and again, really appreciate. We're so fortunate to have you involved in providing us with this fantastic music, and obviously NFTs you do, and the kindness in terms of that you show to the community in general. So I really appreciate it, and really also appreciate everybody to come along today. And again, share what's happening, especially around real estate tokenization, and obviously Ravencoin in terms of what we're doing on Ravencoin as well as a community. But share in terms of what's happening in real estate, the new frontier of real estate. And let's go enjoy SOS's music. Thank you.